Alright, second multi. Oh, there we go. First copy. We got her. Come on, dude. Come on. Yeah, yes. Yes. Yes, let's go. We pulled her E1. Nice. Ad time. Yeah, if you play gacha games and hate overpaying, listen, LD Shop is giving up to 30% off on Chaos Zero Nightmare and a ton of other gacha game top-ups. For example, here in CZN, the gem monthly package, which costs usually 85 euro, you get it for 62.94, which is actually insane and a really solid deal overall. And before you ask, yes, it is legit. LD Shop has a 4.8 rating on Trustpilot, which is trusted by players worldwide. Plus, new users get an additional 15% off, and if you use my link, you get an extra 5% discount on top of first-time top-up bonuses. So don't waste your money, hit the link in the description and start saving with LD Shop right now. Yo, what is up guys, I'm here hitting you up with a new CZN video with this Serenial showcase guide, whatever you want to call it. I did have a little bit of time to play her now. You saw a couple of my summons already. Now I already got her to E6. I hope you guys also had a fantastic pull time. I was blessed during Merry Christmas to y'all. With my pulls, within 230 pulls, I was able to get 6 copies of her E5 plus then the shop to E6. But as you can see, she's currently E0 because I wanted to make sure that I show you how she looks like at E0. If you want to have a separate video where I show you full power Serenial at E6, let me know. I will make a video about that as well, obviously. But now it is about the girl Serenial. How good is she? I already got all her stuff going. Let's just kick things off with her cards and her best cards, in my opinion. I already have a general good idea on how I want to play her and what I think could potentially be the best thing for her. Now, when it comes to the homing laser, in my opinion, are only 2 cards you wanna use at all, and that is 3 and 4. And the homing laser afterglow, 2 afterglow create 2 homing laser in this card pile, which is really good. And then the homing laser attack on Ravage or at the start of turn move to hand, also very good cards. So how do you want to play these cards? There is a little bit of a condition for number 3 where you create homing laser cards. This one, if you want to play this homing laser build with this specific where you generate homing laser L cards, you want to have the Divine Epiphany on it to make it a 0 cost card, okay? You want to get it with a Divine Epiphany, get it 0 cost, and then you want to duplicate it, okay? This is what you want to get with this card, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, the alternative would be, and I think this is where I want to go, and that's why I give you already my opinion on this one, is the homing laser with on Ravage or start of turn, move to hand. So when you actually your turn starts, you draw your cards, then you get that one on top in your hand as well. And when you break the break bar, then you get that card back in hand. I will talk about the ideal build in a second when I go to the ideal build section. Then we have the plasma missile. In my opinion, also there are 3 good options. I think, in my opinion, 3, 4, and 5 are her best options. While 2 sounds nice on paper, it's not really that useful overall. And number 4 is a little bit weaker. I think her ideal 2 are 3 and 5. I personally prefer 5 a little bit more, the upgrade card, than the 3, just because it is a unique card, upgrade card. You activate it, you have it. You don't have it in your hand anymore and you don't have to think about it. But okay, so 3 is good because it has 1 cost, 2 instinct weakness, okay? So whatever dungeon you get in is similar effect to like Meilin has with her Ember weakness. This is the instinct weakness and you get plus 60 damage to your homing laser. So this just makes this card here a lot stronger overall, okay? And it also applies to homing laser L cards, so you can upgrade these cards. So this is a good way to boost the damage of this card. But also we have the upgrade card, which at the end of the turn 50% damage to a random whatever. That doesn't do anything, to be honest. It's like a little bit okay, but like nice to have, but it's nothing crazy. But the big part is plus 30% damage amount for each homing laser move to hand for 1 turn. There is no limitation to it. You know how many homing laser you can move around just by starting the turn? A lot. I tell you, a lot. This one can go up easily plus 300, 400, 500, depending on how your ideal build looks like. So you want to have the upgrade card, so trust me on this one. This is where you can maximize your damage output overall. Then we got the Shining Core as well. Now when it comes to this one, I think there are two options. This is 3 and 5. Either you go for the middle one, the Shining Core Unique Initiation. You start with it in your hand, create 2 homing laser. On Ravage, create 2 homing laser L. If you can get a divine version to make it 0 cost, even better, because you start with this in the hand. And also another great option, in my opinion, would be the other upgrade card. Select and create a homing laser with their own distinct epiphanies. So basically, it just gives you an additional homing laser copy, and you can do whatever you want with this. Either you create another one of the one you already built, or you just choose something else depending what you want to do. For example, the homing laser, this one here on the right, with move all the homing laser L in the graveyard to hand. So this is also a solid option. I think you can also not really go wrong with 4 and 1 either. I like all of these options are solid. You have to figure out for yourself. I just find these options slightly better than the rest. Also, the X one is nice because it creates X+1. So if you have 0 AP and activate this card, you create 1 homing laser with haste on it. And if you now play the equipment, you know, all that X+1 equipment, and if you combine this, you get actually X+2. So you create 2 homing laser L cards with 0 mana. If you have 1 mana, you can obviously create more than that. Also, solid option if you want to go this way. But since she breaks fairly easily, I would rather go with the upgrade card because it feels a little bit better. Then we have the Cobalt Light, which in my opinion is probably her weakest card. Let's talk about it. Now, when it comes to her cards, really, I don't think any of these cards truly shine or are that great overall. I think the best 2 options are 3 and 4. Now, to be fair, number 2 is interesting if you plan on playing her together with Orlea. There might be some shenanigans you can do with Orlea because she has that retain effect, which can stack up, so you have a 9 hit card. That is basically an auto break. Now, if you play with Orlea, you can probably just make it a free card. So this could be an option if you plan on play her with her. But outside of that, I think 3 and 4 is the way to go. Now, 4 is basically the mail-in card. The more you use, the more stacks you get, but it is a nerfed version of that. I don't think they want to do the same mistake again where you can get like an infinite number of hits. But let's say if you can get like 5, 6, 7 of these homing laser cards in your hand, now you activate the Cobalt Light card, and now you have 132% damage times 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever you have in your hand. Now you can also get a divine option to make it a 0 cost card, makes it better. But also this is where really at 3 and 4, this is where you have to decide for yourself. This one, yeah, I think it's slightly better. Divine, make it 1 cheaper, 1 cost, and then 4 hit, create 4 homing laser cards. I think this is probably the best option just for create a homing laser creation. This might not be bad if you're looking for just tenacity break, because basically, yes, it is cost 3 mana, the number 1, but every time you break your opponent a boss stage, which you do almost like every single turn, you just make that card 1 mana cheaper every single time, so you can easily just get it to 2 mana, 1 mana, 0 cost. Okay, so this is where you can get this card. Then last but not least, we have the Pale Shooting Star, 165% damage, activate 3 homing laser in draw pile and graveyard. Now this is what we need to talk about. There's a little bit of a difference right now. As you know, we have used cards which we couldn't get back, for example with the Joker card from the cast, but now we have the graveyard effect, which is a little bit different because now the graveyard effect says cards used this turn or in the discard pile. Now this makes this a lot stronger. So this is the Pale Shooting Star, is actually the card you want to finish after you've done all your homing laser shenanigans, because even if they are gone, even if you already used them, you can still now activate the Pale Shooting Star and activate them again, which is huge. And now let's talk about, jump over to the Manifest Ego here. If you can get her to E1, now plus 50% damage on 2 Pale Shooting Star, and change the whole number of activatable homing laser to 5. Now you can activate 5 of these homing lasers, which is a big deal. And here we have at her E2, at the start of battle, create 2 homing laser L, and then at the start of turn, if homing laser is one of the cards drawn, draw 1 card. Okay, huge effect. You can just generate more card draw overall, and this is where we also have to pay attention to our you can easily get we will go into it, but you can easily get 10 cards in hand every single turn. It's actually insane. It's actually insane. Now that I went to the memory fragments, let's talk about the memory fragments. I just went with a 2-2 build right now, just because I just have this stuff and it's just easy to build her this way. But I actually do believe that the way you want to build her is with now that instinct one, because I do like it. A 4-piece set plus 50% damage amount, 2 instinct cards used against ravaged targets. It's very easy to break with her, okay? So it's very easy. So you can use this one and just get an easy plus 50. Solid option. And then for the offset, you want to have the 2-set crit damage or the 2-set attack, depending on what you like. I would probably go with the 2-set crit damage overall. This is what you can do, but you can also go with an offset with the 2-2 set. That is also an option if you want to do that as well. Now, when it comes to the partner, I think it's not even a question in this sense. Paco is the best partner for her. I don't even want to talk about the other options really too much. I mean, if you want to do something else, you can either go with, no, you can actually not go. I think the only option you truly have is the karate card. I mean, you could also go with Yuri if you want to have a 3-star option, but karate would be your next best thing. But you really have to get Paco. I'm not. This is a power grip. Like, I'm telling you something right now since I played with it. Paco is by far the best partner card in the entire game. It's not even close, because this is now where they're actually trying to improve. Maybe they buff up the partner cards in the future, but hands down, this is now the best partner card in the game. Why? Now, while you have all these effects, so when you assign competent, blah blah blah, you always have like these two. You have one additive effect and then you have one multiplicative effect now, okay? But this is what made them like 50-50 compared to like a maxed out 4-star card partner or a 3-star partner. But now they added that bonus 8% attack on top. Now this is what puts this card over the edge in terms of DPS of just having one single copy of it, right? But now one of the biggest deals right now, which I think needs a little bit of improvement in terms of wording, is the partner card. The partner, the ego skill itself. Why is this now a big deal? So if we read it, when an ally inflicts ravage, 1 overclock to the assigned combatant. The assigned combatant is Serenial, okay? Plus 25% crit chance for 1 turn. Now what that means is, and I don't know why they made it so this way, that an ally needs to ravage, because her entire mechanic is to break. But the way you want to use this card is that you actually want to use your Serenial to get the enemy to like as low as possible in terms of break bar, but then use your support DPS or main DPS or whatever to actually break him to trigger the overclock, so that your Serenial now gets a crit chance boost and gets your homing laser cards back in hand. So this is how they design it. Now, why is this stronger than all the other partner cards in the game? And this is why I want to mention it is, now maybe you've already seen it or noticed it, but her overclock beacon card effect is a lingering effect. It is not a hard once per battle like a majority of these cards, right? So for example, this one here, Fierce Winds, plus 50% damage to cards for 1 turn, or for example, this one here with the Zeta, draw the highest cost card and then it's gone. No, with Serenial and with Paco in itself, it is a lingering effect which you have for the entire duration of the battle. It's 1 time per turn. So once you ravage your opponent with this and you trigger the effect and you get the overclock for your Serenial, you now get 25% crit chance. And you get that every single turn when you ravage. And that is the crazy part about it, because it is actually a lingering effect. Very strong, very strong. So get that card because it's just too good. It's hands down the best card. And it also is cool because it's not only usable for her, you can also use it for other characters as well. While like when the assigned commandant card move graveyard cards from graveyard to hand, you get damage boost. You can also use this one for Renoa, for example, or increase damage amount by assigned commandant attack cards that are used against the ravage target. Like this is, you can combo that with Renoa as well. It would also work without any issues, which is the interesting part, I think, in my opinion. Now when it comes to the potentials, you just want to work heavily on her unique card, then you want to work on that stuff. Basic card is whatever. You do want to get this one here because now your standard basic card can create homing laser cards, and you do want to get a unique stat. So once her crit chance is above 30%, 10% additional to homing laser, and if it's over 6%, you now get an additional plus 5%. Now when it comes to her ideal build and save data, obviously I don't have too much time because it is Christmas today, guys, so I did 2 runs and have something prepared for you, but I want to also give you the theory craft about what I think, in my opinion, is the ideal deck for her. Now when it comes to her equipment, you want to have the Foggy Crystal Ball, increase damage amount of attack cards with cost 0 by 40%. This is what you want to have. And then for 3 and 4, this is whatever you might find in terms of damage increase, just get damage up and stuff like that. That is whatever. The Forbidden Portrait one is a solid option. You deal a lot of multi-hits, attack, and then draw more cards. This is a solid option. Now, this is the build I have for her, but now this is where I want to discuss the ideal build for her, okay? What you want for this character in particular is you want the homing laser with the on ravage or at start of turn move to hand, and this card you want to have in a divine version. This is not ideal build, right? Divine version, either with +1 AP or 2 vulnerable to the target. Okay, this is what you want to have: 2 vulnerable or +1 AP. You can choose whatever you like for yourself, but this is the way you want to go. So if you want to have her more as a supporting role, like both are legit fine, but if you, for example, play without Mika, then you can go with a +1 AP build because you have this card now 3 or 4 times activated, and you start your turn with 3 AP, and you have the homing lasers in hand. Now you activate them, and now you have 6-7 AP every single turn. Right now, if you combine it with Shizuru and Array, you don't have any AP issues whatsoever. Now, if you want to have her more as a main DPS type of character, where you have the correct support and AP generation is not that big of a deal for you, you want to have vulnerable on that card, because now you can start the turn, activate all your homing lasers, and now you have 6 to 8 vulnerable debuffs right off the get-go. And then once you ravage them, you get the cards back and you stack a shit ton of vulnerable. Like, in terms of DPS output, homing laser with vulnerable and then copy that card 3 times. I don't think you need it 4 times necessary, because it might be scuffed with the with her egos, because once you draw homing lasers, you draw an additional card. Could be a scuffed situation. And at the start of battle, you also create 2 homing laser cards. We have to be careful of this one, but I would say at bare minimum, you want to have this one 3 times with the vulnerable. If you can get 4, I mean, cool, do that. Then you want to have, obviously, the plasma, because +4% for homing laser move to hand. Now, this is always move to hand at the start of turn. So you start the battle. Okay, obviously you have to activate the plasma missile first, but starting with turn 2, now that this activated, you start your turn with +90 to +120 extra damage. You activate them, you get them back, because you move them again, you get another 120% plus all the other shenanigans you are doing, and you get very, very high damage output for this card. Now, when it comes to the Shining Core itself, you either go with select and create a homing laser, because this lets you allow to do whatever you want, like just adding maybe another copy or whatever you might want to do at the end of the day, right? Or which I like a little bit more in this sense, especially for this build, is this one here: Shining Core upgrade, create 2 homing laser, on ravage create 2 homing laser. Because you do a lot of damage with your standard homing lasers, this is the way for you to actually gain homing laser cards. Okay, this is what you want to do. And then for the Cobalt one, as I said, 3 and 4, like either of these options can work for this build. This is depends on, do you want to have more laser L generation, then you go with option 3. If you want to have like a lot of damage, then you go with this one, because you do have homing laser a lot in your hand when you start this off, so you can easily rack up a lot of damage. And then you want to finish off with your pale shooting star, because once you did all your shenanigans, you should still have 2 AP left. Then you activate this, do a lot more damage, and then get all the cards and activate them from the graveyard, which is a huge deal. And then you can actually finish off with her ego skill, where you then use this card, and even cards from exhaust pile, right? They are already exhausted. You can now activate this and activate them again, because you get them to your hand and then you can drop all again. It's insane in terms of what you can, the spammability of this. I know this was a lot of talking in terms of fairy crafting, but I really wanted to talk about this real quick. And now let me show you a team showcase. In terms of team combinations, you can do a lot of different things with her. This is a combo that I just thought of, which they also showcased in their showcase for Serenial. So you can use, for example, another DPS with Shizuru, for example, but I would like to have a build when you do this with her specifically with a small type of deck. I don't want to have a big deck. I just want to have a small deck with Shadow, with the focus on Shadow Moon. And then we have Tsukuyomi, 0 cost, have the stuff, Onihan, just activate, just boost the damage, and then you let Serenial do her thing, and then you do your Shadow Moon with the Shizuru without having too many cards in this deck. Then we obviously also have the what's her face, Ray. Now I need to swap my deck here. This is also the correct deck for the setup, and this is how you can play with these units. And obviously, if you want to have her like, let's say, a pure DPS, now you could also just replace, for example, use Shizuru with, for example, a Kali, which I didn't use in quite some time, to be honest. Kali would also be another option, or you can just use, as I said, Mika would be an option together with Veronica. There's something you can do. You can also combo with Yuki or Renault. There's like a lot of different things you can actually do with this character, right? So there's a lot of the... Also, I think what would be another cool thing I want to test is Haru. Haru would also be awesome, because Haru is really good in destroying break bars, and that just goes very well with her together. So this could be another combo. There's like, sky's the limit, okay? Sky's the limit. You can also just use a solo DPS and then just get some support in. And yeah, that's really about it. I just want to show how this fast goes. I think we do run a little bit into AP issues here, but let's do Family Head real quick as like a quick showcase on how this potentially could look like. But yeah, so we start off. I just activate some of my cards here. Cursed Chuckle. Let me get all the good stuff out of the way right now. And then we want to activate our homing lasers. Boom, boom, boom. And we're working on the break bar right here, right now. And see, every single time we're starting, we start off with these 2 homing lasers, because every single turn we have them in our hand. Now we activate the plasma missile because we got it in hand. And we also want to activate the overclock of beacon immediately, because there's no downside of not having that card right off the get-go. Now, since I have this one here where I can select one, I want to show you how this looks like. This basically acts as my third on Ravage card, so I want to get this one. So I have now 3 Ravage cards, plus I can draw here, and I can even boost the damage if I want to. Now, let me activate all my homing lasers here first. And this also helps with the stacking of the Shadow Moon. And now I'm activating a Shiny Core, get more homing lasers, and then boom, boom. And we're really working this boss down. Then we activate the snack one. Let's remove Dark Condensation here. Draw another card, which boosts just the Shadow of the Moon right now. And I think we can just, let's see what happens. Maybe we draw something here. Oh, we got the Onion. Sadly, I can't activate it because I'm liking the AP generation right now. And yeah, so see this here? The turn starts, and see what type of hand we have. Now let's activate the Tsukuyomi, because this one is good for me right now, because it's just +2 AP, which just makes our turn a lot bigger. Then we activate Predator's Blade for more damage output. And now we have the Shadow of the Moon, which is now, can this actually break? It can break. Now, if I use this, this also breaks. Every single one breaks. But because I have the effect, ally inflicts ravage overclock for 1 turn, okay? Now we actually want to activate the Shadow of the Moon to break in this type of situation. Boom, 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 boom. And now this is where we activated the overclock effect, okay? Overclock is now activated, okay? This means we just got plus 25% crit chance for our, what's-her-face, Serenial. And now we just want to nuke down on this boss with the abilities we currently have. And we could have also done this, but you know what? I'm kind of want to save this for another turn because we do get extra hits and we do also have to work down on the bar here. And then this is how you can easily just work on this opponent here. And you see we get just a bunch of cards back. Now let's increase our damage output again. Here another damage boost, boom. And then we activate our homing laser. And there we go, trigger gear back. Now activate Tsukuyomi to add extra hits for the Shadow of the Moon. And just get an AP as well. Then we activate our homing laser just to make a little bit of space here in the hand. And now we can ravage. See this? How much this breaks now? At least this one here. Because I just have it, but let's do some damage. And there we go, we got the break. And then we got getting the cards back here again. And now we just spam them all out. And this one is on bind free right now. Let's, should I activate this one? You know what? Let me activate this one as well. That's fine. And we just want to save the Shadow of the Moon maybe for another turn. But this is where what I mean with, in this type of team, for example, a little bit more AP would be useful. So if you had the homing laser, which gives +1 AP divine, this would be really cool for this specific build or idea in itself. Let's use Is Karmic actually active? I don't even know. We see, yeah, Curse Chakras is active, so we don't need that one. Activate Tsukuyomi. And let's just spam all our homing lasers here for the time being. And then we can use the Tsukuyomi and deal our damage. And really work on this boss at this point in time, right? Go, there's the kill on this boss. Now, obviously, she did a little bit less damage because, for example, the Shizura does more damage because this is a dark boss, right? And you deal more damage to the family head with a dark unit. Also, just for the showcase purposes, you can see this and the decreased count. So this is very only two things that activate. But just giving you an overall overview on how this character looks like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I obviously will play a lot more in the next couple of days with this character. And also will give her the dupes I have to just show you her true capabilities of what she can actually provide. As always, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it. Merry Christmas to y'all, enjoy the holidays, and see you with the next one. Deuces.